What's happening? Thor and Brian back with that brand new show we've been telling you about. You saw the title, so you clicked on it. Does It Hold Up is the name of the new show. We go through movies, video games, commercials, pretty much anything and everything, and we talk about does it hold up. It's got to be at least from the 90s or earlier.
Right.
So nothing probably post 2000. So we'll cut 1999 and earlier. We're open to suggestions, so make sure in the comment section below you leave suggestions for future Does It Hold Up you'd like to see. I'm already planning like a Voltron, Transformers, Billy D. Williams, Colt 45 commercials.
Yeah, buddy.
Obviously, my favorite movie of all time, Big Trouble in Little China, some other 80s movies. We got a lot of stuff in the works, but we're definitely want to know what you guys want to see us do. But this is it. This is the show. Does it hold up? And our first one's a doozy. Right? Am I right? It's a doozy. Duke Nukem 3D, the 1996 game that changed everything. And what really brought us to this point of doing this as our first one is we were having a discussion earlier after taping a different video about the new Duke Nukem movie that they're planning with none other than, you can't see me, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect, John Cena himself. I believe John Cena is the perfect person to play this character. I mean, he's a super macho, misogynistic, roided out character, and that fits John Cena's look at least.
Well, and everybody said, I'd never watched Trainwreck, but everybody
he's hilarious
says
in Trainwreck.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's really funny in Trainwreck.
And ultimately,
I like him a lot in Trainwreck.
It's more comedy than it is anything.
Oh, by far. That's a full comedy.
Be the thought.
Yeah. They're going to have to do it in a kind of a satirical approach. Just what we're going to talk about is we're not going to talk about graphics, because obviously the graphics have come so far since 1996 that we're not going to talk about graphics. We'll compare it to other games in that genre, i.e. Doom, Quake, what are first-person shooters from the late 90s that were big?
I mean, you hit the most important one.
Yeah, Doom. And then Leisure Suit Larry is a nice comparison because,
Comedy-wise.
The ultra, sexness of it and stuff like that. Like watching strippers dance.
Yeah.
Going into strip clubs to kill aliens, things of that nature. But, so let's just kind of, if you're not familiar with Duke Nukem 3D, I don't know why you clicked on this video in the first place, but let's tell you what it was. So it was a game.
It's Doom. It's a first-person shooter back from the 90s.
It's Doom with a dude who just makes pop culture references.
Yeah.
And I mean, they steal from everybody. They steal from They Live. They steal from Army of Darkness, a shit ton. They steal from Aliens. They steal from Star Wars. They steal from Jaws. They steal from Ghostbusters while taking a shot at a different game.
Right, right.
Gosh, they just take so many shots. They steal an Andrew Dice Clay thing, which the game is very in the Andrew Dice Clay style. I mean, bitch is throwing around in this game like it's like
the word.
That's the word. If there's a word in Duke Nukem, it's that word. They just throw it around like crazy. Lots of swearing. I mean, they even take stuff from like Stand Alone, where it's like, I'm gonna rip your head off and like shit down your neck.
Yeah.
And then he like kills a boss and then does it to the boss. You can heal yourself from peeing and like. This is just, and this stuff sounds hilarious. I know, I think so too.
Right.
And it's very Deadpool-esque, like you have alluded to in earlier conversations we've had. Yeah.
And that's ultimately what I think, because I hear a lot from people, Duke Nukem can't survive in this
day and age.
Right.
This ultra-sensitive, hyper crybaby state we're in.
You can't get away with a video game where a guy, walks into a strip club and
shoots aliens.
Right. And then
watches the strippers.
Right. You can't do that. And that's what a lot of people say is the reason the newest one, Duke Nukem Forever, didn't survive was because it's a different age.
Game had tons of problems. Tons of problems outside of that.
Production was that game's failure, not like we said. I mean, Deadpool did great the first one. We got the second one right around the corner. And that was just a couple
years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So it easily, and that's why I have hope for the movie, but I think the game itself could still do it.
If they do the movie in the right way, and kind of he's the butt of the joke,
right?
Where he's that thing and everyone's kind of like makes fun of him, but he saves the day in the end. Because Duke Nukem does not have layers. This is not a layered individual. You're not going to find like a lot of stuff in this game like honor and...
Well, and that's what I like what we were talking about earlier, where like Duke Nukem's the hero, but ultimately there's not a heroic trait about him.
Yeah, there you go.
the biggest joke besides the pop culture references is that he is hyper masculine, and literally the name is stolen from a villain from Captain Planet. They stole the name from a Captain Planet episode villain.
It's hilarious. I mean, everything about this game. I mean, they got one-liners like, you know, the kick ass and chew bubblegum line. They got, you know, I'll be back like Terminator. They got yippee-ki-yay mother effers that from stealing from Die Hard. You know, I already went through the Stand By Me one. What is it? I like good cigars and bad women. It's just it's really. It's just one of those types of games. It was 1996. The 90s were weird. You know, it came out. It was a really big hit. I remember when it came out. We were so excited. We played it like crazy because we were really into Doom and those type of games around that time. First-person shooter is kind of the birth of the first-person shooter, you know? And I was all for it. I'm still all for it, you know, X amount of years later.
And Duke Nukem ultimately...
God, is that 22 years ago?
Oh, my gosh.
96?
Don't
06,
even...
16?
Yeah, it's
22 years ago. So that's what we're talking about. Do things hold up from 20-plus years ago? And honestly... I'm going to say it doesn't really hold up. We watched a little bit of the gameplay right before we started. And if I had to choose between that game or Doom, I'd play Doom. I think Doom, and this isn't a comparison, but I think Doom holds up a little bit better.
I don't disagree with you, but I think refreshing myself on the gameplay like we did, I'm watching it and I'm like, I think this plays awesome. I think it not only do they have their own little flavor as far as it's more comedy based, whereas Doom's supposed to be like you turn the lights out and it's scary.
Doom's tough too. Doom's a hard game.
Right. This seems much more catered to that sort of young boy audience where it's like crude humor.
This was made for 14-year-old boys.
But still like a shooter game. And it didn't look like the shooter aspect to it was bad. I think it holds up.
If you compare it to the graphics of that time, the graphics are actually like surprisingly good. I was looking at it thinking, dang, the way the bodies like crumble and like guts and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's like 8-bit or 16-bit.
Right.
Is it even 16?
But I don't know.
Nah, 96 it would have had.
Well, they put it. The Duke Nukem 3D got ported to Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably more.
Yeah. So I don't know. Final verdict on Duke Nukem 3D. I mean,
I think holds up for what it is. As far as like it's supposed to be a shooter comedy,
fun time for probably 15 minutes until you're like, yep, I remember this game.
Right.
I watched the gameplay for literally like less than 5 minutes, and I was like, yep, I'm good on this. Which tells me, for me, it doesn't hold up. It's not something that I go back and revisit. Like I go back and revisit a Mega Man or even Super Mario Brothers, things of that nature. These are things I'll go back and revisit and enjoy for hours on end when I sit and revisit them. This is something I sit down, I could revisit for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, half an hour, and I'd be bored to my skull. You know, so for me, I don't think it holds up. And the ultra misogynistic aspects of the game, yeah, he used a lot of pop culture one-liners, which actually I think work a little bit better in this day and age than maybe even did back then. Because I think a lot of kids who love this game didn't understand maybe even all those one-liners.
Not even close.
Because I when we were going back through them, I was like, wow, I did not realize there was that many pop culture references in that game. I knew the They Live one and a couple other ones.
And that's why I draw that Deadpool connection, just because it's like the first character I can think of that does the obscene sort of fourth wall breaking everything. I mean, he is the same sort of character, ultimately, except for like turned up to supposed to be an obnoxious degree.
Right. Hail the King, baby. Like, share, subscribe. You know where to find us. You know what to do when you find us there. Until the next video. Deuces.